my partner for providing for his needs in the ways that I am uniquely gifted to do? How am I considering his feelings, him as a whole person, and not just, okay, we'll hook up and then like we have totally separate lives after sex. So I feel like there's just like a lot of lack of accountability for us as women in terms of how we're going to interact and with and treat our partners. And I just want more of that. Like I want more accountability for that, not just for myself, but I just think about this as a mother of sons. Like I think about what I want, what my dream is for a supportive partner, for someone who will listen to them, for someone who will, support their point of view, support their career aspirations, be there for them at the end of the day. And yes, of course, it goes both ways, and meeting needs, it's a two-sided street as far as each partner bringing something to the table and filling a role. But I just really want that support. And I think it's hard to find that right now with so much pressure on women to be independent, to do it all. And quite frankly, I've done it all. I've been a single mom. I've been divorced for 20 years. I've been a single mom for that entire time. I was actually, as a teenager, taking care of babies. So it's like, I feel like I have been in charge of someone else for a very long time. And I also feel like I have kind of aspired to this mentality of be everything, be mother and father, be, the breadwinner and the person baking the bread, be all of that. And that is success. And that means you're empowered. But at the end of the day, it means I'm exhausted. It means I am lonely. It means I'm unfulfilled. And so like being with somebody, being with a partner actually makes me my best self. It helps me shine. It helps make me happy. And I feel like that ideology of, chase this goal, be a feminist, nothing wrong with that in terms of, valuing women, empowering women, etc. But like chasing that to the ultimate endpoint, the ultimate conclusion, means kind of abandoning men. And I can never do that because I'm a mom of 3 sons, and they're my first priority, period. And when I have a partner, that person is my priority. So I just can't like walk away from, say like pro woman, anti-man, pro, empowerment for women, and guys can just figure it out because they've already had their time. And I just feel like for Black men in particular, anybody other than nominally white men throughout history, there hasn't been like their time. They haven't had like their time. So where is that respect and support for men? Sons, fathers, husbands, partners. And see, I don't think you have to be in a marriage to be trad. And that's my whole point with TradPro. You can be traditional and progressive. You can have a full 360 degree globe of empathy. Like you don't have to just have like a one-dimensional side of like, well, we're just gonna have submission at home, and then the rest of the world can kind of like go F off because we don't have to care about human rights. We don't have to care about, like, it's just our family and God and country, etc. I don't think you have to be a Christian or a church-going person. Maybe you have to be a deist, some kind of a belief in a higher power to aspire to empathy or to fuel that. I'm not sure. I think some atheists have empathy as well, just because it's in their personality or their psyche. So I don't go to church. I have stepped away from traditional religion because it was not helpful to me. However, I'm not an atheist. And I have a moral code, a moral compass, a set of core values. And those core values just happen to be traditional when it comes to being a woman, being a partner, being a wife, girlfriend, mother. And you can ask my kids, you can ask my ex-husband, you can ask my current boyfriend, you can ask my ex-girlfriends and ex-boyfriends. This is something that I've heard repeatedly, like that I'm a contradiction because I'm so progressive politically and yet like so super traditional in terms of like I knit, I sew, I cook, I clean, I love being a mom, I breastfed kids, I did all the things that you're gonna see on Ballerina Farm. I'm a master gardener. I have master artist as well, master of fine arts degree from Howard. I have just kind of like done, and I even got that degree, I should say, because in my mindset at the time is like I wanted a career that would support and be in unison with being a wife and mother, because that was my goal for how I was raised. That's pretty much all you're supposed to be. So I was the first female in the family to get a master's degree and a terminal degree, my MFA, because you're not really supposed to aspire to more than that. But like I did it in art, partly because that's where my scholarships were for my talent and my portfolio from Belhaven University and Howard University. But I also did it because guess what? If you're an artist, that is a flexible career time-wise. Like you can flex that around kids going to school. You can flex that around breastfeeding. You can flex that around gardening and cooking for your husband and family. You can, put that wherever it needs to go with family still being priority in your lifestyle. Even if you're teaching art, you're going to have the same hours as your kids in school. So summers are off, summer vacation with the family. So that was kind of also something in my mindset at the time, like choosing my degree, choosing my major was, it was important to me to be able to circle that around family. And then, I don't need to tell you all that I was a single mom back in 2015. I'm still a single mom. It's taken me a long time. This has been 10 years, right? Since everybody wanted to argue about my identity and make it weird. And that's a whole nother topic and we could talk about it. But I mean, the short of it is, let's just agree to disagree on that. If you can. This is probably another thing that like a lot of people might not agree with, but whether you see race as a social construct or a biological reality, I don't want to like argue that point. I think that people just have their conclusions, and racism is real. So let's just be anti-racist. We can settle on that, and you do you as far as how you want to dress and wear your hair and live your life. And let's agree to support each other though, and also to support justice causes, to support inclusion, to support, how does inclusion not go with progressive values? I mean, some people say oh, well, empathy and compassion comes from the Bible, and love your neighbor as yourself, and take care of the least of these, and that kind of thing. But I think empathy and inclusion can also come from just a progressive view of everybody being equal in worth, and wanting to support people with disabilities, people with diversity in terms of any category. Why is there not just love and empathy coming from that inclusive, equitable, just framework of core values? I think that if anything, it's more progressive than conservative in terms of its origin point when it comes to justice, equity, and inclusion. So anyways, that's my little spiel for today. Why are we not empowering our sons? Why are we not holding girls and women, including myself, accountable for, how we treat our partners and, Why aren't we saying like, you would never do that to my son, or you would never do that to your son, or you would never do that to like your dad or whatever? Like, that's just not something that is pressure being applied to women. The pressure is be independent, don't need a man, don't need anybody, do everything by yourself. And then I think that that results in a lot of like unhappiness, a lot of dissonance, a lot of kind of even bitterness about all of it being put on our shoulders. You know, some people are going to thrive with that, but like you have a lot of people just, you know, like, okay, I'm going to put myself in this category. People just getting cats, you know. Hey, this is Theodore, and he's really cute and adorable. I actually have him for Langston, but you know, like saying F it with partnerships and relationships, let's just get a cat and do everything myself, because then I don't have to do anything for another person, because that's just another added responsibility. I don't have time for that. I'm exhausted. But like, what if you had a partner who was providing and protecting and like doing things in the household that would take stuff off your plate? Isn't that like a relief? Isn't that a joy and fulfillment? To me, it is. Like, I crave that. I want that. I need that. I have that right now in a partner, which is amazing and has reminded me how much happier I am when I'm with somebody and not just doing it all on my own. So, food for thought. You know, I'm starting a TradPro movement. I mean, I don't know. It might not even be a movement, because it might just be like a walk I'm taking alone, which is just, you know, the saying is like, a leader that doesn't have any followers is just taking a walk. So maybe it's just me out here in the wilderness, like doing my own thing. That's cool. Like if I'm the only one, but I don't think I'm the only one. I think there's a lot of women out there that, and you might be one of them, that just feels like this is a lot. Like you're tired, you're exhausted, you're like doing everything. You don't have the support of a balanced partner, and you're not giving that support to a partner either. And so like that part of womanhood is unfulfilled maybe, because that's what brings me joy. Like I love cooking an amazing meal and feeding it to my partner and watching, you know, him like be delighted by the food, and then, you know, taking care of him in all the ways. So I think that there are more of us out there. I just think that it's not supported in society to talk about it. And I think that we're not supported when we choose to be domestic. That is kind of just like all in the back end of what we talk about, and everything that we are encouraged to talk about is like our careers, our success, you know, just how much are you doing? That's like, if you're an overachiever as a woman, you're getting a gold star. You know, if you're doing all the things and filling all the roles, then hold your head up high, because you are a confident, strong woman. But guess what? You're a strong, confident, you can be a confident, strong woman also being domestic, and you can do that while holding progressive values and supporting the idea of equity and inclusion and justice in society. So that's my little spiel. And let me know in the comments what you think, because I would love to dialogue with anyone and everyone about this. All I see online is tradcon. Trad women, far right, has to be church, has to be based on, you know, faith, tied to family, tied to Republican agenda. It doesn't have to be tied to necessarily faith or the Republican agenda. You can have strong family values. You can have those same family values that held your parents or grandparents' relationship together. Yeah, you can have all that and be a Democrat or be a progressive. I mean, like, does anybody really agree with either platform 100%? Because yeah, a lot of us are kind of like trying to figure out where we fit, because we just want the world to be a better place, and people on both sides that are running things seem to be out for themselves and kind of falling in line with the system in various ways. So yeah, let me know your thoughts and I will keep talking about this.